It's going down. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of It's Going Down, being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Biden appears, let me get my mouse. Okay, it says, Biden appears to reveal the United States is training Ukrainian troops in Poland. And so it begs the question, is Poland the next place on the list to become a digitized society? And while we may not yet know the answer officially, it do seem or appear to be in the works from what we see. Biden made the comments when trying to explain a recent gaffe, in Poland on Friday. President Biden told members of the 82nd Airborne Division that Ukrainians were stepping up against Russian assault and said, "You're going to see when you're there," suggesting that the U.S. soldiers would be entering the war zone, or so they say. So you must ask, what are they training Ukrainian troops for in Poland? And why would there be United States soldiers in Poland? What are they training Ukrainian troops for exactly? Could they be training them for some kind of staged event? Could they be training them for actual war against Russia? Only time will tell. But when you see things like this in alternative media, you got to watch with a careful eye, because there's no telling what the devil could be plotting next. And when I say the devil, I speak of the so-called white man, starting with the so-called elites down to the rest of their nation of people. They're all a bunch of devils. And one thing they're good at, which when you look up the word devil, it means a deceiver. And one of the main things that these different devils that have control over the United States government, one thing they're good at is deceiving people through their media. So there's no telling what they're training these Ukrainian troops for in Poland. And again, Poland appears to be the next target on Russia's list. That's if it is safe to assume that Russia is done with Ukraine. I mean, it has already been exposed that Mr. Zelensky here has been exposed for being an actor. So, once he starts speaking or he gets involved in something, 9 times out of 10, something is fishy going on. And, as you see down there, all these are the live feed of things which have been exposed to be fake or overly exaggerated for another purpose of an agenda being put into play. So what I would like to do is go here to King James Bible Online.org. Here it is. There's all this chaos going on in the world, and the best they can do when it comes to news media is showing you a news article of a dog throwing a fit like a child for running out of bones. This kingdom is a joke, and it is finished. This is the book of 2 Corinthians 2 verse 11. Give it a moment here, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of these different devices of Satan. And of course, when you look up the definition for a device is a scheme or plan. And know that whenever you hear about something like this, there is a scheme or a plan going on behind the scenes, which is being brewed up by the Illuminati through the so-called elites, which are the heads of the Illuminati, telling them what and what not to do. Even though they are all being controlled on the left-hand side by the Heavenly Father and His Son, by the Heavenly Father through His Son. Okay, and remember, the so-called elites, they have an NWO to fulfill. But like it tells you in Job here, let me just do this. Okay, and then view chapter. Okay, Job chapter 20 verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Yeah, the biggest hypocrites on this planet are the biblical Edomites, which are the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation of people. They're all a bunch of hypocrites. Here it is. They have a day dedicated to protecting and taking care of the earth. Meanwhile, they're still dumping plastic and radiation and trash in the ocean, killing off the marine life. Here it is. You got this conflict going on in Ukraine, and they set up a experienced actor to be on the forefront of the people of Ukraine. And Joe Biden, he's an actor too, even though his acting sucks. But he's an actor. All these politicians, they're all actors. Your Democrats, your Republicans, these government affiliates that work for the House of Representatives, the Senate, the Congress, they're all actors. They even hire crisis actors for Crown Royale. So the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens and his head reaching to the clouds. Right, it's talking about them satellites. They got satellites and space trash up there. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. Okay, So that's not exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna skip down to verse 22 here. In the fullness of his sufficiency, what is that talking about? Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is what? The New World Order, which is done by what? Ordo ab chao, which is Latin for order out of chaos. So that fullness of his sufficiency is talking about the NWO, their NWO, which they are fighting to fulfill. So in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Okay, yeah, he's going to be in danger. He's going to be in distress. Talking about the so-called elites and all these members of the Illuminati and all these high-ranking government affiliates, whether here in the United States or all around the world. Okay, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him when he is about to fulfill his belly. Again, the New World Order. Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, or may I say, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So in that day, the Lord is going to, when these devils think they're about to succeed in fulfilling their New World Order, the Lord is going to put the spirit on these different presidents around the world to shoot their intercontinental ballistic missiles on this wicked country known as the United States and on the land of Israel where those imposters are at. Okay? So the only ones that are really going to survive the nuclear destruction are the so-called elites. And of course, the Lord's elect of the nation of Israel. Okay? And if there is anybody else who is still alive around that time that is a heathen, you're going to be a slave in the kingdom of heaven too. But we know that the so-called elites are going to be the main ones to survive the nuclear destruction. And during that nuclear war, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, he's going to make his grand return and deliver his elect men and also bring destruction to the wicked. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom is on to the next one.